Hey, good evening. Welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, we've had an eventful day today. We were called out last night, actually, about the house that we've started building, house 57, actually. This was a house that we found when we were about to leave the street that we've actually built, the one with 8 houses. And the lady came and asked us would we build a house for her. We went and looked at the house. Of course, actually it's never difficult to make the decision to build someone a house, because the people that do come to us and ask for help are usually living in such wretched conditions, way below the poverty line. In fact, the houses are usually made of sticks and tarpaulin, so it's never difficult to say, yes, we'd like to, given that we've got the finances. Well, we do have the finances now to be able to build house 57. So what happened was that we started. Now, there were a few difficulties. Now, I've got to say, because I know that people will come up and say, well, why don't you decide all of this in the beginning so you don't have these problems. So what are the problems? Well, the problems were that between one house and the property that's on the other side of the space that we can build a house, they're two different owners, and for some reason there's some bad feeling there, and they're not trying to help. So they're being very awkward. And so we went this morning first thing to find out what had happened. Now, we've been told that the house on the right hand side of our house project had taken the posts out for the construction of the side part of the house that we're building, which obviously was an extremely aggressive thing to do. When we got there, we found out that it actually was an exaggeration. They hadn't done that, but what they had done is they had registered their approval of where the posts were going. So it's really simple. It's not a difficult problem to understand that on the side of the open property, the owner had decided that he didn't want the house to be too close to the actual boundary itself, so they had to move the house over. Well, they did that, and in doing so, the guy on the other side who's living who is the owner of the cement house that's there said, no, it's too close, because there's a piggery at the back. This is what we found out when we went today. There's a piggery at the back, and they like to be able to get the tricycle between the new house and the old one that's there, which I felt was actually quite reasonable. So they measured the tricycle at 5 feet wide, and so eventually, to cut a long agonizing series of negotiations short, we moved the posts. And so now, instead of having a room, unfortunately, instead of having a room, which is the part of the house, which you will have seen in our other videos, they get a living room, then next to it there's either one bedroom or 2 bedrooms. So it's like a square split in half. Well, it looked for a moment like we actually were going to walk away, just take down whatever we built and get our materials back and just walk away. Well, as soon as they realized that we were considering that, they got round the table and we worked out how it could be sorted out. So that was our early morning start to the day, it must have been very stressful for the lady that we're building the house for, because at one time, at one place in the negotiations, it did look as if we were going to walk away. And it was only when all parties realized, oh, wait a minute, that they're actually considering that they got sensible, and we worked out the solution that I'd suggested in the first place. Well, write it off and we'll move the posts, and the woman will still get a house, but it just won't be as big as it should have been. So that sorted out, we then went on. We were hoping today to be able to go and meet some members of the military, the Philippine Army. Now, if you've been looking at our videos, you'll have seen that we've partnered with our 8-house project and the street. We partnered for a day of volunteering. The PNP, the Philippine Police, came along and they sent, wonderfully, they sent 10 guys along, and they were pretty well responsible for painting all of the houses. So that worked out very well, and the chief of police actually came to the blessing and the handover of the houses and actually said a few words, which was wonderful. Now, the idea is that these different departments can take a share and take up some of the slack in the welfare work, the community work that we're trying to do. Well, the way that it worked out when we went to see the PNP, they already had a plan. They already had plans to do just this. So it was a no-brainer for them to come in with us. Now, we have met someone who is a subscriber who says that she will be able to hook us up with those in authority in the nearest branch of the army to do the same thing as the police did. So they would send some guys along there, soldiers, who would be able to give us a hand. And it's kind of a PR thing, really. It is so that people generally feel better about the police. And here I see no reason, certainly in our area, that they should not feel better about the police, because personally I don't think I've actually been stopped by the police. We go through all of the checkpoints, we slow down. I think we've stopped once or twice, and nothing. Just, can you put your mask on? You know, something like that. So nothing to be fearful of or concerned about the police. We don't see many of them anyway, and usually they're in their truck. So it's a goodwill thing where different departments are seen to be working together, and that's the idea. And that will be the idea with the army as well. Our contact who knows people there in authority has already, I believe, has been involved in contributing in some way to the community work that the army have been seen to do. And it's not unusual for the army here in the Philippines to go and help in the distribution of free food, which, while we're on the subject, there's been, if you're a foreigner, or if you're looking at this in another part of the world than the Philippines, there's been an actress called Angel Locsin. And Angel Locsin is known for her philanthropic humanitarian acts, and she set up what she called a community pantry, in which she provided quite a lot of food, and people would be able to come up as if going to a store and would be able to donate food, or they would be able to take food. If they needed rice, they could get a rice package similar to what we've handed out in the past. In the past, we've handed out say 3 kilos of rice and 2 cans of sardines and a can of this, or 2 packs of noodles. You know, something that would be a couple of meals if you're really on hard times. So that was the idea. Unfortunately, because she is who she is, and she is a celebrity, a well-known actress, and very well liked, a lot of people came, and it got out of hand, and somebody got badly hurt. Well, she's come in for a lot of stick there because of this, very unfairly, because how could she know? And so now the other pantries around which are going on are taking place in a slightly different, or taking a slightly different slant on things. So what we did a few days ago, we bought 3 sacks of rice. A sack of rice is about roughly, don't quote me because I don't hand over the money when we go for these places, involves speaking in Versailles, which I don't speak. So Beth hands over, but I think that it's around either 2,200 or 2,400 pesos a sack. So we bought 3 sacks and we took it down to Itafi, down to the local, that's our, well, as near as damn it, our local police station, even though we're part of Taliban. And we took it down there and we handed that over, and they took a little promo picture of us with some officers and the 3 sacks of rice, and they put that in the magazine, so which all helps. So we did that, and this lady that is trying to hook us up with the military also has been telling us that the army have done stuff like that as well. So we're looking at trying to meet with the army. We missed, because of our problems with the house today, we missed seeing our friend, regretfully, because we did have that emergency and we couldn't leave until it was sorted out. And by that time our friend was not available, so we missed the boat on that. So we'll do that another time, and the intention behind hooking up with different government bodies is so that everybody gets more of a community spirit. That's the idea, and it works. Our next project is going to be an interesting one, because it's in the ghetto in Dolmen, which is a small town which is, let me see, 3 or 4 towns on the other side of Ubay, and close to Tagbilaran. So we're actually probably going to drive out there tomorrow to have a look at what's happening. The people have already started clearing the site. It looks like we probably will target at least to build maybe 3 to 4 houses, but we're going to do it one at a time this time, rather than do the entire project and lay the entire project open, which we found was a little bit less than ideal. Maybe for a pro contractor where everybody knows exactly what they're doing on that, but this was our first time with our team to go out and do 8 houses, so it took a bit of organizing that. So this time we're going to go in there with a small team, 5 people, 4 to 5 people, blitz it on one house, then move on to the next, and then to the next, and so on. So that's the intention there. So that's our update on our busy day today. Thanks for looking in. We'll be back with more stuff today. Bye bye for now.